Hello dear students, welcome back to this English class. Today we shall continue with chapter 8, that is Saving the Tiger. I have covered part A in our previous session. Children, I hope you have viewed that video Saving the Tiger part A. And I hope you have also read the content that we had covered in our previous session. So today let's continue with the same chapter, that is Saving the Tiger part B. This particular chapter has been written by Shekhar Dattatri. Before we continue, let's do a quick recap of what we have covered in our previous session. So, I would like to ask you a few questions. What was the thrilling moment that the author narrates at the beginning of the chapter? Yes, can you tell the answer? Yes, the thrilling moment that he narrates about is his first encounter with the tiger, when at the age of 19 he visits the Kanha Tiger Reserve in Madhya Pradesh. He comes face to face with the tiger at very close quarters. And that particular moment is the most thrilling moment, he says, even though he has come across tigers in later years, he has seen the tigers at very close quarters in later years, but that particular event, that particular incident when he saw the tiger from a very close range at the very first encounter, he says that was the most thrilling moment and it has remained etched in his memories. That means he cherishes that particular moment very close to his heart. Okay, now my second question is, what concern has the writer expressed in this particular chapter? Yes, the writer has expressed his concern over the declining numbers of tigers. That is, they are now an endangered species, and if not protected, they will soon become extinct. Extinct means there won't be a single tiger to be seen on the planet Earth. What reason does he cite for the declining number of tigers? Yes, students, can you answer that? The reasons are, one is poaching, and second, we also have habitat destruction, that is destroying the forest, and also prey hunting, that is killing all the smaller animals that are the prey for the tigers, that is the food for the tigers. So the writer says that these are the reasons for the declining number of the tigers, and if not protected, they will soon become extinct. How many tigers are there now? There are less than 2,000. And how many can India actually take care of? Yes, considering the number of forests that India has, we can actually have more than 3,000 in addition to the present numbers. Yes, so this is how the writer has shown concerns on how our national animal, the national animal of India, is being endangered and it is soon going to become extinct. So now is the time to act upon this and to protect the tigers, that is the national animal of our country, India. So the writer says the tigress, that is a mother tiger, cannot afford to feed even one cub, when earlier she could feed 4 cubs. Now it is difficult for her to feed 1 cub, and if the cub does not survive, how can we have the next generation of tigers? Also, the present generation of tigers are under the threat of being hunted. So then the question is, does this mean that the situation is hopeless? So that is where we had ended off in our last video. So this is the question that the writer is asking. Does this mean that the situation is hopeless? Does it mean that we cannot reverse the situation, that nothing can be done? Yes. So let's try to understand what he has to say. So let's read. Does this mean that the situation is hopeless? The answer is no. In some of our reserves like Kaziranga in Assam, Corbett in Uttarakhand, and Nagara Hole in Karnataka, good protection measures have resulted in thriving tiger population. So what the writer says, that there are many reserves that are there in India. One is Kaziranga in Assam, then Corbett in Uttarakhand, and Nagara Hole in Karnataka. All these reserves ensure good protective measures for the tiger population, and because of which it is thriving. Thriving means it is flourishing, it is growing. Okay, so they have resulted in thriving tiger population. Read. Although poaching has not been and can never be totally eliminated, even in these reserves, the large number of cubs that are added to the population each year more than makes up for the few that fall prey to poachers. So what the writer says is, though the threat, that is poaching, cannot be totally eliminated. Eliminated means cannot be removed, right? But at the same time, because these reserves take good care of the tigers and they provide good food supply, so the tigress can afford to feed its cubs, and because of which the number of cubs are being added to the tiger population every year. Okay, so that makes up for the loss of those tigers that are falling prey to poachers. Okay, so it is a very positive note. How is it that these reserves have succeeded in increasing the tiger population where others have failed? It all comes down to good systems set up for protection. So while these 3 reserves have succeeded in helping the tiger population to thrive, to grow, so the question is how they have succeeded in increasing the tiger population where the other reserves have not succeeded. So what is the main reason? The reason is because these 3 tiger reserves, they have good systems for protecting the tigers. Let's read further. These reserves and a few others like them have many anti-poaching camps inside and on the periphery of the forest that are manned around the clock by forest guards. While some guards stay and look after the camp, others patrol the forest on foot, checking for human intruders. So now he explains further what are the systems that they have adopted, which makes them help the tigers to thrive, to increase in number. Now what are the standard measures that they have adopted? One is the anti-poaching camps. That means they have installed anti-poaching camps inside and also on the periphery. Periphery means of the border of the forest, and also the borders are manned round the clock by forest guards. They are manned means they are guarded by humans. Around the clock means 24 hours daily. They are manned by forest guards. While some guards stay and look after the camp, others patrol the forest on foot. So some guards are appointed to look after the anti-poaching camps to see that no poachers come in, while some of them are posted at the periphery, the borders of the forest, okay, to check for any human intruders. Let's read further. These foot patrols are crucial for detecting snares and traps that are set by poachers, which will not be visible if the guards just drive around the forest in jeeps. Now, what is important about these foot patrols are there? These guards are actually on foot. So therefore, they can check for snares and traps. You must have seen on television or internet where the poachers, they lay nets on the ground to trap the tigers, right? So they are called as snares and traps. Okay, so when the guards are on foot, they can actually check out for these snares and traps, which may not be visible if they go on the jeeps. So that is how the writer says that these three tiger reserves have helped in increasing the tiger population. Let's know further in our next videos. We wind up here in this particular video. Let's check out the meanings. Thriving means growing. Eliminated means removed. Periphery means border. Manned means guarded by men. Introduce means people entering prohibited areas. Again, so let's repeat that. Thriving means growing. Eliminated means removed. Periphery is border. Manned is guarded by humans. Introduce means people entering prohibited areas. That means if people are not allowed in a particular area but they enter, then they are termed as intruders. So students, that's all for now. We shall wind up. Please view the video once again, read the content that has been covered and learn the meanings. So let's see what the writer has to say, some more interesting facts about the tiger in the next session, that is Saving the Tiger Part C. Till then, take care and God bless you all. Thank you for participating.